Welcome to Anderson Pen Sunday Brunch Menu 4 for Sunday, April 24th, 2022. Hello, Brian.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fantastic.
You got your coffee?
I have my coffee.
I have some coffee concoction.
What did you get?
It's a frappe of some
Frappe,
kind. And
okay.
it's a cherry bomb.
Isn't it a little cold for a frappe?
No. It's never too cold for cold coffee. Never too cold.
Not in this man's eyes.
You and I did the podcast last Thursday, but last Sunday, you were in Chicago and Lisa was sitting there.
Yes.
And you say you watched that.
I did watch it.
How did we do?
Did good. Good.
Yeah?
Fantastic.
I thought it was fun. It was fun to have her.
It was nice not to do a video for a week.
Yeah, I do make you work quite a bit, don't I?
You do, yes.
Lisa and I talked about how to get friends and loved ones into fountain pens. And Lisa is devious, of course.
Gives away an emperor.
Yeah. She's sending you one as far as I know.
Yes, she did, yes.
And of course, last Sunday was Easter, but we talked about that on the podcast. You had a good Easter. This last Monday, it snowed practically all day. But I don't mean it snowed a lot. It just kind of snowed a little bit all day.
Yep.
It didn't stick anywhere. Well, it stuck everywhere but the streets and the sidewalk.
Yep.
So everything was nice and clean, but it was like living in a snow globe because it was really nice snow. And
It's like, we call it fourth winter.
Is that what we call it?
We're in fourth winter now.
Winter. Well, yesterday,
Third
Saturday,
winter.
was 73 degrees. So that's quite a change from Monday snow.
Yeah.
And I figure it was the last snow of the season, knock on wood. But fourth winter, you never know. You're going to be very busy this week.
Yes, it's a
week.
busy week.
You're going south on Thursday because you're going to the Chicago Pen Show, and you'll be there on Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
And the show itself runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct. Yep.
Also on Thursday at Anderson Pen Chicago, you won't be there, but Lisa will. That's going to be the Kenro event.
Yep.
With Carrie Yeager. And I'm sure you're sorry you're going to miss that.
Usually, Carrie has with him new samples of new colors and things like that.
He will have them at the show, too.
Okay.
So I imagine he's going to go to the show on Friday, and then you'll be there on Friday. So
hopefully.
Plus, Lisa will send you pictures.
Yes.
We have to get these. And then Saturday and Sunday at Anderson Pen Chicago, you'll be there. Plus, the Kennedys will be there. That is the 2-day nib customization and pen repair event. And then on Monday, which will be May 2nd by then, it is the Coles of London event at Anderson Pen Chicago, which you are staying for.
Yes, DuPont and Visconti. Yes.
Right. And when I say Kenro event, I mean that's a lot of pens because that's Esterbrook.
Yep.
And Montegrappa,
Aurora, Auto
Hut, and Y Studio, I think.
And Y Studio,
yes. So Carrie always has a lot of stuff with him.
Yep.
And usually he has something that we're seeing for the first time.
That's just coming out. Yep.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention, not that we usually do this, but just this past Thursday, on the podcast, we talked about the new Twsbi, the 580 white with rose gold.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful pen, and I was very enthusiastic about it. Little did I know it was going to sell out the very first day.
Yeah, there will be more coming.
That's what I want to point out.
Yeah, we'll have more coming.
You should sign up for Back in Stocks because more are coming. When are they coming?
Soon.
That's it.
Real soon.
They're always coming soon.
They're coming on the 1st. Yeah.
And they are gorgeous on the 1st.
First chance.
We're a little close to the 1st.
We're a little close to the 1st, yeah.
And I would like to ask everyone watching to please like this video and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And now, without further ado, you're going to hit me with a joke, right?
Did I tell you the other day?
Here it comes. Yeah.
Did I tell you the other day?
You did.
I was taking a walk around the block. It's getting spring. I'm trying to get some exercise. I'm walking around the block. Somebody hit me with a can of mayonnaise.
I know this one. Go for it.
I said, what the hell, man?
Yeah. That doesn't work in California.
It doesn't work.
We don't have that brand.
You don't have that?
No, it's called something else in California. Okay. So the first time I saw that, I thought, I don't get it. But now I get it. Speaking of this angry person and throwing things, what kind of people never get angry?
No idea.
Nomads.
Oh.
Ha 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 ha. That's it. That's our jokes. Now we have show and tell. I'm going to go first because my pen is already out here for everyone to see. This is, of course, an Esterbrook. It's an Esterbrook Estie, oversized, and they call this one the Frontier.
That's the Frontier.
Some people say Frontier. I am from the Frontier, so the way I say it is the correct way to say it. I think this was a special edition or limited.
Yep.
Do
special
we still have any of these?
I might actually have a standard size lying around somewhere. One or two.
Now, what do you see on this pen that makes you surprised I bought it? What's
Gold trim.
The gold trim.
Gold trim.
Don't like gold trim.
That
But
blue teal is amazing.
the color and the sparkles, that overcame my problem with the gold trim. Not just the clip, though. It's whatever this is called.
Yeah,
the threads.
The threads, yeah.
And, of course, the nib has to match. So
Well, we could put a rhodium nib on there for
we could do that. And, I should just send this to Carrie and say, please switch things out for me. Make me a custom pen, Carrie. And
it looks good in that color. The gold, I think, on that one.
it's not
fantastic.
bad. I don't think the silver trim would have looked bad. It's got silver sparkles. They could have gone either way.
Could have, but
The gold does
it's more
look
of a
good.
greenish blue. It's cooler. It needs that gold.
Needs it.
Yeah.
It can handle it. I don't know if it needs, but at any rate, I had to have it. I think Esterbrook, with the Esties anyway, make really nice. I'm not going to say colors.
Materials.
Materials are just. This is not the first one I bought because I had to have the Aqua before that,
Which also has gold trim.
Which also
Do you
has
have
gold
any
trim.
Esties with rhodium trim?
No, I don't.
No.
they make so few. This one, however, I got with the scribe nib.
Okay.
Which I was very, very happy with. It's basically, Gina does these.
Scribe or the journaler? The
Journaler, I'm sorry, journaler.
Journaler, yeah.
It starts as a medium, and she sort of makes it into a stub.
She stubs it out, yeah.
It's a little bit finer than a medium, but for me, that's a medium. It's a medium stub, and it just puts the perfect amount of ink on the paper.
What ink is that?
I'm glad you asked.
It's interesting. It's kind of a dull
it's
grayish.
a muted green with silver sparkles. It's a Kyono Oto Ryoku Yuido.
You see that? Oh, that's
I
nice. didn't
didn't do the lava lampy before
do the lava.
I didn't do the lava lampy. But yeah, just the sparkles in it are really nice. So it's something that I knew I had to put in this pen because it's green and it has the sparkles.
That's beautiful. Nice match. Nice match.
And of course, I have mentioned on the podcast before that I liked the journaler nib, which is difficult to get
Yes,
because there's a backlog.
It's been so popular that it's difficult to get, and we actually can't just order the nibs.
Right, because they're shipping them with pens.
Yeah, so we have to order it with the pen, which means if I want to have 10 nibs in stock, I got to order 10 pens. And if I don't need pens, then it becomes...
Right. They'll catch up eventually.
Yes, they'll catch up eventually.
As soon as everybody has all the ones they want, then they'll stop ordering. But one workaround of that is at the Philadelphia Pen Show, I purchased 2 pens there, and Gina was there grinding
straight
nibs.
to Gina.
I took them to her and said, please make these into journalers. And so that's one workaround.
Yep.
Now, my Aqua did not have a journaler, so I'm waiting. One day I'll get a journaler in the Aqua. But that's my show.
You could buy another pen and then just swap the nibs. But it had to be gold then.
I already have one here, so I'll just use this nib in both pens.
Yeah, but what if you want to use both pens?
Because I write at the same time with 2 pens. I have not seen what you've brought, so I'm assuming it's going to be amazing.
So what I did this morning is I said, I have probably a ridiculous number of pens on my desk. And I said, well, we're going to play a game. We're going to see whichever pen actually writes. First off the bat is the pen I'm bringing in.
Okay, so it shows itself in other words.
It shows itself, and I have a number of vintage pens on there that I've acquired, and
So this is going to be vintage.
and this just happens to be vintage.
Happens to be vintage because
'cause
the vintage one wrote.
It wrote, and I had a couple of modern pens on my desk that I picked up, but they didn't quite write because they were either empty or whatever. But this is an older Pilot with a Screen-Maki-e. It's got some flowers on it. So this is kind of in that custom 74, custom 67 body style.
Yes, and
With no cap band. And then your number 5 nib here.
which is what, the same as the 74?
Same as the 74. Yeah, this essentially is the same.
It looks a 74.
It's the same as a 74, yeah. And this one actually has a date code of 2002. So,
Okay, so it's not really vintage.
well, it's 20 years old. It's in that
It's barely vintage.
it's in that gray area. They don't make it anymore. But nice gold nib. I couldn't tell you for the life of me what ink is in here. I think it's some kind of diamine or something, but
But it writes.
it writes great. Actually,
I was going to say it matches this right.
it does. It matches that. Look at that. There's nothing left in the
in
cartridge.
there. Wow.
So somehow it chose itself knowing it wasn't going to. But I like it. It's a neat pattern.
It is very interesting.
It's a light pen. It's not heavy.
No, and the shape, as the first thing I thought of was a Custom 74.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what it's based on. Very nice looking pen.
So,
and do you know where you got it?
I got it in a lot of pens somewhere.
A lot. Because you get a lot of pens.
I probably bought 20, 30 pens, and then that was
And
it.
this was a keeper.
Yeah, that was a keeper.
It's very nice. I like the Custom 74s.
Yeah. Good size.
Yeah, and it's very light.
Yes.
Very light.
Yeah, the Japanese never make anything too heavy, usually. So
Very nice.
but that's my user for the day.
You didn't ask me where I got that one.
I bet you got that here.
I got that.
I hope you got that here.
I have a quiz for you.
Okay.
A quiz, and do you remember what my ink of the week was on Thursday? You remember the color? Because I don't remember the name. Satasha, ukiyo-e, hokusai. And I made you say it. Remember?
Koyai? Benetsuchi? No, it was. Which one was it?
I don't remember. I mean, I can't pronounce it. It's what. That's what you're playing for.
Okay, I'm playing for. Oh, that's great. I like that
A
color.
sample. You did like it. You don't remember?
I do vaguely.
Very nice
Yeah, it was
blue.
tealish blue.
Tealish blue.
Okay,
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
See, you weren't here for any of this. On our YouTube channel, we recently posted Lisa's top 5 Rebel pens, which she described in the video as any pen that Brian wouldn't like. In 4 guesses, can you name 3 of her choices?
3 of her choices. She chose the Jotter XL,
That's one of them.
which actually was a surprise to me because I like that pen.
I have that pen.
It's nice. The XL is not.
It's
The
a nice
size
pen,
is the
yeah.
size is great. They should have gone to that size a long time ago. Auto Hut D04 probably.
She did choose that, and you know which color.
Blue Wave.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And she said it's discontinued.
It is. The Blue Wave is discontinued.
That's
really,
the one she went crazy for when they first came out.
really pretty. Very
You're
pretty.
2 for 2.
And Retro Palmer.
She did hold up the retro Palmer,
Palmer,
yes.
See, I like that pen too. So
Any retro really is a nice pen.
Yes.
The Palmer is special to us, along with the Chicago pen. But any retro 51. Do you know the other 2?
the other 2.
I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. Doesn't count.
Jotter D04.
There's one pen in particular
XL.
that she talks about all the time. It's a pilot.
She has a.
She has a thing for these pens.
Oh, she's the Acroball.
Yes,
she
she
likes
has
the
a thing for the
Acroball.
Acroball.
I was going to say the Vanishing Point ballpoint, which is no longer made.
Right, and she did like that.
She does like that one.
That wasn't in her top 5 Rebels.
I can't remember the 5th one.
An Estie DuPont, the initial ballpoint.
Yeah, she's got shark blue. Yeah, that's right.
Shark blue.
Yeah, that's a nice pen. That is actually one of my favorite ballpoints in that kind of price range. It's a good looking pen. It's solid. It has nice weight
One
to
of
it.
the things I don't have that I wish I did is one of those Vanishing Point ballpoints. But by the time I realized we had them, the color I wanted was gone.
Yes.
So now I have nothing.
have
That's
nothing.
what happens.
I have one.
Sometimes
I have one on my desk.
You keep him distracted. Put your coffee down, and for this one, I'm going to need you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Because I have just realized that the answer to the question, close your eyes, please, is right behind me.
Oh,
In our last podcast,
Rhodia.
we talked about the 4 new colors for Leuchtturm A5 hardcover notebooks. Please name the 4 colors.
Ocean,
That's one.
vanilla,
Yep.
lilac,
Uh-huh.
and olive.
Yes. You pay attention during the podcast. Congratulations. You have won the
All right.
ink sample of my last ink of the week. And
We don't remember what it is, but I want it.
I do remember. It's a Tasha, ukiyo-e, hokusai, something. It's the blue one. Remember I made you say it.
Sabamadori?
No.
No.
It's worse than that. Fukan Hanada.
Oh, yes.
Something
yes.
like
Okay,
that.
all
I mean,
right.
I can try it, but that's not right. I just butchered it.
Bukaki Hanada.
And here's the one that I do not expect you to know.
Okay.
I kind of expected you to know those 2. Earlier this month, and I want you to pay close attention, please. Earlier this month, a man in Michigan, and I will tell you, he's a 21-year-old man in Michigan, was awarded a Guinness World Record, and it was an odd one. He now holds the world record for having the largest circumference of a particular body part. What is that body part? Poor Justin behind the camera.
Neck.
Good guess, but wrong. It was his tongue. I didn't even know why would they even need a record for that?
Is that important? Did I miss a memo?
Apparently it's important. Dante Barnes is his name. He's of Battle Creek, Michigan. He can flex his tongue in such a way that the circumference was officially measured at 4.8 inches. He said he first realized he could do this tongue flexing after seeing someone else do it in a YouTube video. Dante has since posted, get this, he has since posted his own tongue flexing YouTube videos, some of which have over 20 million views, one of which has over 63 million views. So now I know what I need you to practice, Brian. We want to get views on our videos. Wow. You need to flex that tongue.
That's what YouTube is for right there.
Oh, that's the second thing I've heard today that it's for. So congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Now we're supposed to talk about something near and dear to both of us.
Yes.
How to navigate a pen show. And just so happens that one's coming up next weekend.
Yes.
This Thursday.
Be good for a little refresher, especially since, with COVID pandemic, shows have been kind of sporadic. So
They have. My last pen show was Philadelphia in January. And at that time, face mask and proof of vaccine was required. Face mask just to get into the hotel, proof of vaccine and the face mask to get into the show itself. I do not know what they're doing in Chicago. It's probably all bets are off at this point.
I think so. Yeah. I haven't heard anything otherwise. So
yeah, but which of course does not mean that you're not allowed to wear a mask.
Yes.
And pen shows can be crowded, and you might be better off wearing a mask just for your own protection. Which I do not have on my list. I did make a little list of things that I thought of. I have only
pen show requirements circa 2022.
Yeah. I have only gone to pen shows as an attendee, well, and an organizer, but that doesn't count. I've never been the vendor behind the table. I have found that as an attendee, I do like to, if possible, purchase the ticket in advance.
Yes.
It makes it a whole lot easier to get in the door. Otherwise, you can be standing. Especially L.A. The line at L.A., which is a one-day public show, is 200 people long.
It's like going to a rock concert.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So I do like to see if I can purchase a ticket in advance, which isn't available for every show, but I think it's getting more and more common.
It is more and more common. In fact, I bought my ticket for Chicago right online, and I've got it in my Apple
Wallet. We should
point
point out, even though it's me doing it, that I'm the one who started that. In Philadelphia.
You were, yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And now everybody,
I remember the first year, everybody was complaining.
Yes.
Everyone
complained.
A lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people complained.
Well, that was a big change.
Yes.
It was a big change.
Yeah.
I mean, you're used to buying everything online, but you've never bought a pen show ticket online. Yeah. But yes, now you do. Yeah. And now, yes, that's what everybody.
I'm glad it's out of the way. So when I get there, I can just, check in.
Yeah, they'll have you probably in a different line and probably have a name tag for you and everything. And then before I even go to the show, I like to make some lists. So I like to think ahead of time what I'm looking for, if anything, so that I don't get distracted, because I can get very distracted at a pen show with all the shiny objects.
Yeah, sometimes if you have a list and you go in, sometimes if you don't have that list, you come out with something completely different.
And even with the list, sometimes you come out with something completely different. But at least you haven't forgotten the list, because if I have gone to shows without a list when I was naive, and you forget everything that you thought you were going to remember.
Yeah. Oh, I need a cap. Even now, I need a cap for a swan. Okay. Well, when I go to the pen show, I'll remember to look for a cap for a swan.
And you don't remember.
And if you don't write it down,
it's just amazing. Because I do have a list. And if I want a nib grind, here we are again talking 2022. Try to make a reservation with the nib grinder ahead of time, because some of them do and some of them don't. I think they all allow you to make a reservation at the show on that day. They'll have a sign-up sheet, but some of them do that ahead of time online at their website, and their appointments sell out very quickly.
Yes, every time spot will be utilized.
And
so
they're the hardest working people at a pen show. If they never stop,
I could never do it, because I would blind everybody with my bald spot. But
we can fix that.
Their heads are down, and there are benefits to both. I mean, sometimes you get somebody who, so some people like the Kennedys won't do pre-scheduling.
Right.
They do it just as in order, so that way they're most efficient with their time. Because if you have somebody who's as often happens. Say you've got a 2:00 appointment. I'm looking at pens. I'm talking to so-and-so. I'm over in the bar. We're swapping stories. I forget it's 2:00. Well, now that nib grinder is waiting, not doing other work because you're not there. So I can see it both ways.
Right, I can see both ways. Mike Masuyama, usually, I don't know that he takes reservations online, but when you put your name on his list, you put your phone number, and
he calls you.
When you're next, when the person before you sits down, they call you or text you to say you're up in 20 minutes, whatever it is. So that has helped me a lot. And also, sometimes I can just drop off a pen. Say, if you get to it, fine. If not, take it home, send it back to me.
Right.
And they will take pens home because there's a finite amount of time that they have.
Yeah.
But that saves you the shipping if you're going to have it done anyway.
Yeah, at least one way anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to take longer.
So I will buy a ticket online. I'll try to make a reservation for any nib grinder that I want to see. And then I will make lists of things I want to look for, maybe things I want to purchase. Then the day of, I'll make sure I'm wearing some comfortable shoes.
Yep.
So it's a lot of walking and a lot of standing.
It is. It almost sounds a little weird to say wear comfortable shoes, but if you're in a room with like-minded people, so if you don't know anybody going in, you're going to know people going out. You'll find yourself having conversations with people, and you're standing, and it does. You usually don't sit down for hours at a time.
Hours. And I don't know if that's true for everybody.
Yeah.
But it is for me. I can easily spend an entire day on my feet at a pen show until I'm exhausted, and then I am grateful that I wore comfortable shoes. Along with comfortable shoes, I try not to have a backpack or actually any bag with me unless it's a very small something.
Yes. Because
at good size shows, and I'm going to call Chicago a good size show.
Yeah, it's a top tier.
Especially on a weekend, it can get very crowded.
Yes.
And if you're trying to maneuver through the people and you have a backpack, you're going to make some people unhappy.
But you will quickly find
you bump people.
There are things that you just don't need to bring into the show.
No, you bump people. But I will say bring your own paper. If you're planning to test a pen, and you can't test every pen, but if you're serious about this particular pen at Mr. Anderson's table, and you say, can I dip it? You might let me dip it. And then I would want to use it on paper I know. Like I'm very familiar with this paper, so I would try the pen on paper that I know. Especially if it's an expensive pen.
Yep. Yeah. Now I wouldn't expect everybody to have a lot of the dealers aren't going to have ink.
No.
And I would not in any way suggest bringing ink so that you can try your own ink. But it just gets messy. It gets in the way. If they have ink, great. If they don't, well.
Well, that's how pens are sold. Sometimes pens are sold without being dipped or used in any way.
Yeah.
And you just
we keep in mind too that where the pen community has come since the first shows back in the late '80s and the '80s.
In Chicago, I think.
In Chicago was the first show. These were strictly collectors. Now, surely they used their pens, but they're sort of like me. I collect pens that I don't intend to use. So
every day.
As long as the nib isn't mangled, sometimes I just say, okay, well that looks good. I'm not going to use it anyway. But there's no damage to the nib. I don't need to try it.
Yes, I think that's probably an important point. That pen shows as they are today grew out of pen collectors just getting together for perhaps a day or a weekend so they could show each other their pens and maybe do some trading. Because this was long before the internet, and people were putting ads in newspapers. I buy fountain pens,
right?
And so every once in a while they'd get together and say, "Look what I found! Look what I found! Oh, let's trade." Now it has grown into
it's a strong user base.
Yes,
but thankfully,
and modern pen base.
Yes, and thankfully there are some younger folks that are getting into the vintage pens too. So that's good to see. But
I find vintage pens fascinating. I don't find them as reliable.
They can be.
They can be.
It just depends on what you got.
Yes, that is true. The ones I like, the vintage pens I like, tend not to be very reliable. I feel like I'm giving all of my tips. The other one and last one, until I'll let you speak for a little while, is if it's important to you in particular, make a budget. Because boy, could you go crazy at a pen show.
Yeah, and my recommendation is cash.
Okay. That's not mine.
Well,
Well, it used to be important to carry cash.
It was very important. In fact, up until about maybe 8 years ago, there probably wasn't anybody
Right.
at the show that accepted credit cards.
My exact words here are, I used to say have cash, but I'm not sure that's strictly necessary any longer because everybody has PayPal at least.
Cash is king, though.
True.
Cash is king. If there's something you want, if I want this pen and it's $200, if I give you a credit card, you're going to take the hit on the credit card processing fee. If I give you cash, maybe there's an opportunity for a discount.
Maybe.
Everybody loves cash.
So I can say, could you do any better if I have
give you cash? Yes.
And you might say $190. Maybe.
Yes.
I have never haggled at a pen show.
Well, let's talk about it.
So you enlighten me on that. I've never said, couldn't you do any better?
So generally speaking, my rule is if, and the idea behind haggling is not necessarily, and I don't necessarily like that word.
Yeah, it's probably not a good word.
It's not a good word.
Bargaining, asking for a better deal, but it's all the same thing.
It's perfectly okay to ask a vendor, is this the best you can do? Or what's your best price? Is usually the phrase I use.
What's your best price?
Is this your best price? Now, if there's something there, there have been situations where I come up to the table, I say, oh, this is amazing. The price is fair. Here's the money. And you take it and you walk away. If I'm not 100% sure, maybe if it was $15, $20 less, I might be more interested. So what's your best price? Allow the vendor to then come back with you with a price. If the vendor says, no, sorry, leave it there. Don't continue to ask.
Right, it'll be polite.
Yes, I have had people who just sit there and they'll hound me, and then they'll go around the room, they'll come back. You still want to do, can you still 150? No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
A polite once is
ask once.
Ask once, and if
politely,
not,
and if not,
then
take
make
the
decision.
answer you're given. Yeah.
And if the price is, and that's another thing with pricing too. Just because you might see some pens that you don't understand the pricing on. You might see this sitting next to another similar one, and this one's 200, and this one's 1,000. Maybe the guy's nuts.
Probably not.
Probably not. But maybe that pen that's $1,000 is something special.
Right.
There's a learning opportunity there. It's not necessarily that, he doesn't know that these don't go for 1,000. They only go for 500. Maybe there's something special about it. But whatever people want to price their pens at is 100%. It's their thing.
Exactly.
So, if it's too high, if it's outrageous, you're under no obligation to buy. So just move on to the next deal.
Sometimes I'm under obligation to buy. Just let me tell you.
I have made enough mistakes at pen shows, buying pens, that it.
I've done it both ways though. You make mistakes with the buying, and you make mistakes with that. I'll just take one more lap around the room.
Yes.
And then you say, if it's still here, it was meant to be. And then you get back and it's gone, and you're not happy about it.
Yes. So what I do is I'm a big fan of pocket notebooks. I have this little sample here. Now in here, I might have my list. Okay, I'm looking for Parker 45 green sections or whatever. Here's my list of things. But then also, I'll use this to write down anything else that may be of interest. Bert's got a Sailor-Maki-e.
You make notes as you go around.
I'll make notes as I go around. If it's not critical that I buy it then, because I'll never remember. Somebody had
that is true.
Somebody had a Maki-e with flowers on it.
Who was it? It was on that side of the room.
Yeah. And the important thing there is just to remember that at many shows, especially in the early trading days, where you are on Thursday is not necessarily where you are on Friday, is not necessarily where you are on Saturday.
Right. I think in Chicago, though.
Chicago is usually pretty straightforward.
The big names are going to be where they're going to be all 4 days.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll write it down in here. I write my jokes that people send me or whatever. But and then I have it down, and then I can remember. Or I can write down what I spent, because maybe I've got so much cash and I want to record what I bought. So then the pocket notebook is just critical. Or if you've got one that's perforated, I can rip it out and give you my information if I don't have a business card or a website I want you to check out.
That's something I've never done, because I will sometimes go around the room and see something that I want to come back to, but I just think I'm going to remember it. Yeah. And by the time you get through looking at everything, you can forget. There was something I wanted to see over there.
Well, so say you have a budget. You've got a budget for one $400 pen. You might see 50 that you want.
You might see a lot.
But chances are you're going to buy the last pen you see.
Especially if you don't make a list.
If you don't make a
Don't
list.
make a list.
Because you'll see one and go, oh, that's cool. But then it's, you look at your watch, it's 9:00 on Thursday. You don't want to spend all your money right away. And I have done that at shows. I have gone to a show, spent my entire money by like 10:00 on the first day of the show.
That's the best way to do it.
Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't.
You can, when you see something you like, take a picture of it.
Yes. Yeah. Nowadays we have phones. So yeah.
I usually ask first.
Yes.
Because sometimes they don't want a picture taken.
Yeah. Especially if it's something really rare.
But then you still have to remember where it is in the room. So
Yes.
writing it down is a good idea. And we were coming up on that, but I never touch a pen until I ask the person behind the table if I can touch it. Because I don't think I've ever been turned down. But it seems polite to me.
You want to be polite, and generally speaking, most of the vendors, the fountain pen people, we're all fairly friendly. But for some of these people, for a lot of these people, this is not their livelihood.
No,
these are their collections.
Right.
These are their personal pens that they're selling to pay for other things that they're going to buy that weekend. So in some cases, again, they can be a pen that's $1,000. You don't understand it, and if you pick it up, and you don't understand how it works or how the cap comes off. Famous classic example is the Triad pen. Have you ever heard of that pen?
No.
The Triad pen is just as you would expect. It's a 3-sided pen, which has a 3-sided cap. And so when the problem is the pen is so rare now because whenever you find them, they're broken because people would try to twist the barrel to take the cap off, except it's triangular. So when they twist the barrel, they break the cap. There was actually, on that pen, you turn it, I think it's on the cap. You turn the top of the cap and then the cap pulls off.
Interesting.
So there are types of pens that don't operate the way most people are familiar with, particularly in vintage pens.
Right. Well, that is a question you should always ask. After you've asked...
May I? Usually I look at them and I say, may I? And I pick it.
Right, and then you pick it up. If you want to take the cap off, ask them how it comes off.
Yes.
Because you don't really know if that's a slip off or a twist.
Generally speaking, the best advice is to assume it's a threaded cap, unless it's a triad. But you won't
right,
find
because
it.
This is threaded, and if I tried to pull this off, I could hurt it.
Yeah.
But if it were a pull off and I tried to turn it, it wouldn't hurt anything.
And most
but
vintage
I
pens
do like
are
to
threaded.
ask.
We'll
Yes.
have a threaded cap. Most vintage pens.
Aurora 88.
Aurora 88 does not. Yes.
But you wouldn't hurt it by
Most
twisting.
American vintage
Oh,
pens.
sorry, American.
Barker 51.
Barker 51.
But yeah, it's polite to ask because the last thing you want to do is you want to pick up. Maybe you're just interested in taking a look at it. You don't want to break the pen or have something happen because then there's that awkward. Well, am I obligated to buy it? I mean, I guess you could probably run out of the room, but you don't want to break somebody else's stuff.
Sometimes I will see a pen. Many times I will see a pen I've never seen before. I don't recognize it. I don't know what it is. I can say, can you tell me what this is?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know what they have. And you learn a lot that way.
Yep.
And for the most part, I think vendors are knowledgeable, but they're shy.
Yes.
They don't want to be pushy.
Yeah.
I can think of one who wants to be pushy. But most of them are rather shy until you get them talking. And then their passion comes through. They know what they're talking about. And just by them being passionate about this pen makes you want to buy it.
It makes it interesting. Yeah.
Yes, it makes it
well,
very interesting.
and I think partly due to our collector population is definitely aging, so we're going to see a lot. We have a lot of older people in the hobby that are still going to shows. A lot of these people don't necessarily, like I say, this is not their business, it's not their livelihood, and this has been a point of contention from some new collectors. They don't need to sell these pens. This is not going to change their life one bit if they sell this or not. And so that has come across to some people as rude, or they won't talk to me. I'm at the table and they don't say anything. Start up a conversation with them. But yeah, ask them about the pen.
Ask them about a specific pen, and they have the pen for a reason.
Especially if they have a grouping of them.
Right.
If they have 10 of them that are all unique, they collect or they have some information.
Yeah,
sometimes you get a
something
one-off, but.
Most people will tell you to take a lap around the room and look at every table before you make a purchase, which I think is good advice, unless There's some caveats.
Yes. Yeah.
Unless you're looking for something that's difficult or impossible to find. If I walk into Chicago and on the third table there's a Kaweco Sport safety filler, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I am not walking anywhere. I'm buying it. Because I know personally you don't find it.
And it's on your list.
Well, it isn't. But
well,
I would get a second one.
It's on your piece. Like I have one pen that if I found it on Thursday at 9:00, I would just go.
Yeah.
That's
right. There are some exceptions to, but if I'm looking for a Parker 51, which there's going to be a lot,
there are going to be hundreds of them.
Take a look through the whole room to see what's on the market. Now, maybe you saw one on table 3 that was really cool, and it might be gone by the time you get back there.
Yeah, you have to evaluate the scarcity. So if you're looking for a vanishing point, but you want the Twilight,
that's going to be harder to find.
It's going to be harder to find, and then so your sense of urgency is a little bit higher on that.
Well,
if you see it, you better consider buying it because you know that's a hot vanishing point.
That happened to me at Scriptus in Canada.
Okay.
Because I wasn't really looking for one, but one of the vendors there had brand new inbox, the Lamy 2000 Bauhaus, the blue one.
Oh.
When they had all just flown out the door.
You have one?
No, I said, I'm going to think about it. I walked around the room and it was gone. So that I probably should have just said, yes, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I said, no, walk around the room. It's not a big room.
Yeah, it depends on that urgency.
Yeah.
You know, like I've told the story before how I lost a Sailor Sterling with a King Cobra nib. I had 2 pens in my hand from the dealer, and I literally picked that one up and I said, well, I can only buy 2 pens. I can buy these 2 or this one, and I bought these 2. I set the pen down. A guy literally right next to me went right for it. Well, and he ended up buying it.
As soon as you're looking at a pen, the person next to you is interested in that pen. Yes. That just happens.
Yeah, there is a little psychology there. You know, sometimes you have to play it cool. You don't want to.
Most definitely, there is.
Let people know.
But generally speaking, I do like to walk the whole room to see what's in the room.
Yeah.
Speaking of lists, however, I do like to wear a name tag. And if I'm looking for anything in particular, whatever it is, whether it's a Kaweco safety filler or an Aurora 88 vintage, I'll put that right under my name.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Because the vendors they see your name, and then they'll see, and if they have it, they'll tell you. Sometimes they have 3 tables.
Yeah.
And it's hard to look at 250 pens on each table and then say exactly what they have.
Yeah.
But they know what they have.
Sometimes they don't too. And that's the other thing, because vendors will occasionally they buy and sell pens at the show. So they may buy a collection from somebody.
True.
It's behind the table. And
that'll be for the next show.
It might be, yeah. But sometimes they want to move it. There it is.
That does happen at pen shows. Is it mostly the Thursday in Chicago, early morning hours is going to be for the vendors. They're going to do their deals. They're going to get all the good.
It's going to be amazing. I can't wait.
You're going to be there, right?
I am going to be there.
Because you're one of them. So you get those vendor to vendor things going
That's
on.
when collections are sold.
Yeah.
In Chicago, it happens often, but I've been to lots of shows, Ohio, DC, LA, where you get in and somebody's selling off a collection. Either it's a widow or somebody else has found a bunch of pens, and then they'll go, and it's literally, you feel the energy in the room. You kind of look around, you notice there are 10 people over at a table. Right. Massively huddled.
And they know what they're looking for. They know what things are worth.
You know that means you need to be there.
Yes.
In fact, we used to play that. We'd get in shows and we'd be setting up, and Lisa would be looking around. She goes, "What are they looking at over there? Go over there.
Go over there.
Here's some money." And you go over there, and sure enough, they got pens. I mean, I found amazing deals. You can find amazing deals, but they're typically only on those early days.
Early days, and all of the vendors, the experts, are there doing this. Yeah. And oftentimes it's vendor to vendor.
Yes.
David Oscarson especially will be at a show. He'll be early. He'll go to every table. He's Parker's, and he'll know what he's looking for, and he'll make deals. So he'll get all the good deals, and they'll be on his table throughout the show.
Yeah.
But that's what he does. That's not what he does for a living, but that's what he does in pen shows.
Who?
Yeah. David Oscarson.
David Oscarson?
Yeah. Dr. David Oscarson.
Dr. David Oscarson.
And the last thing I want to mention is that pen shows should be and are major social events.
Yes.
If it's your first pen show, you're not going to know anybody necessarily unless you know them from YouTube
online or Facebook or whatever,
Instagram or something like that. But everyone I have found is super friendly. And little meetings between people happen throughout the day, not necessarily in the showroom, though. In the daytime, you go to the lobby or you go to the bar.
You go have a
go to the
beverage or
restaurant,
something. Yep.
And people just start to sit down together and show each other pens. And I got this one. And I wanted to see that. And people are very generous with it. Oh, yeah, go ahead and use it.
Yep.
So you can use a lot of pens that way. And then when the show closes, if you can spend the night, at least one night at the show hotel, the nights are when the socializing, and by that I mean drinking, really happens. Not necessarily drinking, but there's usually something going on at the bar, and people are happy, and they've got all their pens on the table. It is a big pen orgy, if you will, because everybody is passing their pens around.
And we've been, with all the shows that we've done, we didn't always participate in those because, quite frankly, at the end of the day,
well, you're tired as a vendor.
I'm exhausted. Yeah. I've been up since 5 o'clock or whatever, and tried to get something to eat, get to the show, set up.
Yeah, but before you were a vendor, you were going to the shows. I bet there are some pictures. They're not digital.
I doubt it.
And then the other thing is, if it is your first ever pen show and you really don't know anybody, wear that name tag and just put newbie under it. Too many people will come up to you and try to adopt you because we like newbies.
Yep.
We'll show you around. We'll tell you this is that.
It makes us seem less crazy.
Yeah.
If there's someone else.
Not that that's true because we are crazy, but that's what I have. I'm not sure what you have.
I would,
from a vendor's point of view,
I would add at least one thing so far. If you have kids, you're going to bring kids. Kids are absolutely welcome. Keep an eye on them. These can be expensive pens, but oftentimes kids will get that newbie kind of approach. And we used to give kids pencils and and other free pens and stuff. And some vendors will do that. And in fact, our daughter Lindsay, I think, once got a vacuumatic from somebody.
Wow!
They said, "Oh, here," because she's so cute, and they gave her a free pen.
We are trying to indoctrinate.
Yeah. So. As long as they're well behaved, absolutely, bring the kids if you want to. So
sometimes you'll even see a dog.
Yes,
well-behaved dog walking down the pen show, and that gets lots of attention.
It does, absolutely. Yeah. So, what else? Bring water. Make sure to hydrate because you're going to talk a lot.
Yes, and some pen shows will have water stations, and some will not.
So bring your own.
Bring your own if you really need the water. There's usually always someplace in the lobby to get a drink of some kind.
Usually, but if you have a, we used to have one gentleman come to show. I kid you not, had a water jug that was this big. I mean, it was a foot and a half across.
An attendee or a vendor?
An attendee.
Wow, walking around with that.
And he had a big straw. Yeah, it was hilarious.
We should mention, if you've never been to a pen show before, you can go in and come out. Once you get, I give wristbands. Some people have lanyards. Yeah. You can go in and out, so you're not trapped in there.
Well, the nice thing about Chicago is there's kind of like an inner ballroom, and then there's an outer foyer.
Right, it's kind of in the lobby area.
Yeah, which is kind of in the lobby, and then there are tables there right by the restaurant and everything. So, and sometimes I get a little overwhelmed even still. I mean, I was going to count over 120 shows or something like that. It gets overwhelming because sometimes the noise is loud in a room. The noise level will start to creep up. So sometimes it is good to just step out. If you've accomplished all your objectives, or you found that pen, or you're not in a hurry, I'll just leave, go get a breath of fresh air, maybe stand outside.
Yes, I do take several breaks
because otherwise it will get overwhelming and you may burn out.
Yeah, and maybe you just want to sit down for a little while.
Yeah. So.
You mentioned you've been to over 100 pen shows.
Yes.
Anderson Pens has stopped basically going to pen shows.
Yeah.
And even though you've been to over 100, you are looking forward to going to this Chicago.
I'm a little excited. I haven't been to, as Lisa says, unattended. I haven't been to a show. Well, Miami was the last show that I went to.
But you were a vendor there.
But I was a vendor there.
Yeah. You're going as an attendee.
I'm going as an attendee,
which is very fun and different from being a vendor.
Happened since 2008, 7 maybe.
I see the little sparkle in your eye.
But I don't have my pen show fund has not been filled up yet, so we'll see what happens.
I haven't decided if I'm going.
Oh,
I might just drive down on Saturday.
Okay.
And if I did, I'd stay till Sunday because the nighttime is.
Yeah, and as far as the show is concerned, that's a good point. and maybe we touched on this, but generally speaking, most shows are public and private. So the first couple days of the show, if they're a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first couple days during the week are essentially considered a private.
That you can pay to get in.
You can pay to get in. It's going to be more.
It's just going to cost more.
It's going to cost more. And then your Saturday and Sunday would be considered public. So the price is less, but then everybody's there.
A lot more people.
In like in LA, public is only Sunday.
Only Sunday. So now the non-public days are much more expensive, like $75.
Yes, yeah, you get but it's a weekend pass.
But you get in every day.
Yeah, so I think
and you avoid the crowd on Sunday.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's a madhouse on Sunday.
Yeah, you want to if you're an experienced pen show buyer and you're there to buy, you want to have all your buying done by Friday night, Saturday morning.
Yeah,
because then with all the people,
the rest is just socializing.
It's very difficult on those public days, those Saturdays and Sundays, to have a conversation with the vendor.
A long one, yeah. That's because they have too many people.
There's too many people, and that's another thing. If I see you at a show and you're a vendor and you've got a table, I'm going to say hi and we're going to chat. But if it's on a Saturday or Sunday and there's a lot of people and I'm not interested in buying something that you have, I'll politely say hi and exchange pleasantries. But then I'm moving on if somebody comes to the table.
Right.
If he's got a buyer, an active buyer, then I'm gonna let that person sell. So.
Yeah. I would prefer to be there on Thursday and Friday, but I will go on Saturday. You'll go in my stead on Thursday, Friday, and you will tell me if you see a Kaweco safety store.
I will definitely be on the lookout for you.
Or an Aurora 88. I'm looking for one of those.
I have one.
Vintage for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
It's in pieces right now, so it's for sale.
So you're going to put all of these into practice this coming Thursday and Friday because it's your first pen show in quite some time and your first one in a long time as an attendee.
I am sure I'm going to screw something up. So I need to start writing my list now of things that I need to do.
Well, just watch this video.
I'll watch this video.
I'll give you my notes. There you go.
Yeah. If you've got pens, you need parts, you got to write them on the list because otherwise,
I've never had pens I need parts for.
Yeah, you don't repair pens.
No, that's never happened. So I've missed out on all of that. And for me personally, I say, thankfully, I've missed out on all that.
Well, I have one that if I don't, sometimes I don't remember. So I have Esterbrook's doctor's pens with the colored ends on the top. They were red or black. Well, I have one that's red on one end and black on the other. So
you've got the wrong cap on.
I have the wrong cap on the wrong barrel. And if I don't bring that, I never remember. Is it red on top or black on top? I once almost bought the exact same pen from a friend of mine.
Just switch them?
No, it was the exact same pen.
Oh.
So I would have had two red caps. And so that didn't work.
And those jewels, aren't they jewels?
On that particular model, they're actually
the
painted. They're actually painted on the top.
And they don't come off?
They don't come off.
Because they're painted.
Or
do they come off? No. That's a whole different subject.
That's a whole different subject.
Do you have another joke for me?
I don't have another. Actually, you go first.
I'll go first. If the mantis is always praying, what is their faith?
I know this one, but I can't remember.
It depends. They're all insects.
Oh.
Did you like that one? Huh?
Yeah. I read that one the other day.
Did you?
So,
I just wrote it. What do you mean you read it?
The other day when I was walking and somebody threw that mayonnaise at me.
What the hell, man?
A couple neighbors. New neighbors.
Okay.
They were arguing. There were a couple of telekinetics. And they were arguing.
Silently? Or throwing things?
They thought themselves to death.
And on that note, next Sunday, you won't be here, but we're going to record it early so that we can still have a Sunday brunch.
Right.
And I have chosen a topic, Anderson Penn's Sunday Brunch Menu 5. You're going to show me how to pull a nib and feed.
Right.
And I think it's not just on modern pens. You have vintage.
We'll look at some vintage.
We'll look at some different ones. I am not an expert by any means on pulling nibs and feeds. I have done it maybe twice.
Okay.
I don't have a big need for it, and I avoid it.
Good.
But
and we'll get into the reasoning behind that next time.
If you showed me how, I'm sure I will start pulling all my nibs and feeds, just so I can bring them to you and say, "Can you fix this, Brian?" But anyway, that's next week.
Fantastic.
You have a great time in Chicago.
Thank you.
If I do get down on Saturday, I won't see you.
I'll send you a list of what I didn't get.
Yeah. Unless I go a little further to Anderson.
Yeah, you could come. You can come downtown.
Actually, the pen show in Chicago is not in Chicago.
It is not. It's in Hoffman Estates.
It's
Hoffman Estates.
quite a bit northish
Yeah,
of
northwest.
Anderson, of downtown.
I want to say it's about 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. You don't go to
good
the
traffic.
show and say, "Come on, everybody, let's go to Anderson Penn's," because it's a little bit of a trip.
Yeah, you need a bus or something.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. We should do a midnight run on Anderson Penn's. I'll arrange that.
We could.
Got anything else?
I got nothing.
Then we will see you next week. Bye.